The streets of Daphne, Alabama were quiet on that particular evening, with most residents tucked into their homes. For officers of the Daphne Police Department, however, duty called in the late-night patrol was in full swing. After hours of keeping the peace, 3 officers decided to take a much-needed break. They pulled into the parking lot of a well-lit Five Guys burger joint, a familiar spot in the community known for its fresh burgers and friendly service. As the officers stepped into the restaurant, they anticipated nothing more than a warm meal to fuel the remainder of their shift. Instead, what they encountered was an unexpected wave of hostility. The familiar hum of the restaurant came to an awkward halt as 6 or 7 employees behind the counter appeared to freeze. Conversations stopped, movements stilled, and an air of unease quickly enveloped the space. One officer attempted to approach the counter to place their order, but before he could even speak, a voice cut through the silence. "I'm not serving them," an employee stated bluntly, loud enough for everyone in the restaurant to hear. The other employees exchanged knowing glances before silently turning their backs on the officers. The officers were stunned. In their line of work, they often faced tense and challenging situations, but they had never expected to be met with such outright rejection in a public setting. They were simply there to grab dinner, yet the message was clear: they were unwelcome. Unwilling to escalate the situation and disturb the peace, the officers exchanged a brief, wordless look. With quiet dignity, they turned and walked out of the restaurant, leaving behind the warmth and aroma of burgers on the grill. As the door swung shut behind them, they discussed their next steps. For these officers, professionalism came first, even in the face of disrespect. Instead of letting their frustration take over, the officers decided to address the incident through proper channels. Upon returning to their station, they recounted the experience to their superiors, who quickly understood the gravity of the situation, and the department agreed to reach out to the Five Guys corporate office to inform them of the behavior exhibited by their employees. The officers hoped for a quick resolution, though they understood that businesses, like individuals, could falter. They knew that the actions of a few did not necessarily reflect the values of an entire organization. Still, the sting of being turned away for simply wearing a badge was something they couldn't easily forget. As word spread about the incident, it sparked a mix of reactions. Some expressed outrage, while others urged caution, suggesting that perhaps there had been a misunderstanding. However, the next steps lay with Five Guys, as the company now faced a difficult question: how would they respond to such a blatant display of disrespect toward their local police? The events of that night were just the beginning of a chain reaction that would test the values of both the company and the community it served. The following day, the Daphne Police Department formally reached out to Five Guys' corporate office to report the troubling incident. The officers had remained composed during the ordeal, but their account left no doubt about what had occurred. The company promised to investigate swiftly and assured the department that they took such matters seriously. Five Guys, a brand that prided itself on inclusivity and respect for all customers, was suddenly thrust into the spotlight. News of the incident began circulating, stirring strong emotions both locally and across social media platforms. Some individuals condemned the employees for their behavior, while others speculated about what might have led to such an act. Despite the varied opinions, one thing was clear: people wanted answers. Meanwhile, within the Daphne franchise, tensions ran high. The employees involved knew the consequences could be severe, but for now they were instructed to continue their shifts while the investigation unfolded. The local franchisee, grappling with the fallout, coordinated with Five Guys corporate leadership to get to the bottom of the situation. Corporate representatives began a thorough review of the events. Security footage from the restaurant confirmed the timeline of the officers' visit and the behavior of the employees. The footage revealed the employees turning away from the officers as they entered the lobby, corroborating the police department's account. Testimonies were collected from all staff members working during the incident, and it became clear that the refusal was deliberate. By now, news outlets had picked up the story, amplifying the incident to a national scale. Scrutiny placed additional pressure on Five Guys to act decisively. Some called for an outright boycott of the chain, while others expressed hope that the company would address the issue fairly and transparently. After reviewing the evidence and consulting with the local franchise owner, the Five Guys corporate office issued a public statement acknowledging the incident. Five Guys and the franchisee of the Daphne location were made aware of reports that local police officers had been denied service by employees at that location. The statement began: "We are actively investigating the situation and are committed to getting to the bottom of it. However, no matter what the details are, we do not want these police officers or any customer to feel disrespected or slighted in any way. We apologize to those officers and want to make it clear that Five Guys and its franchisees are committed to fair, respectful, and equal treatment for all customers." The company's statement struck a balance between transparency and a promise to resolve the issue. Still, it was only the beginning of a larger response that would involve both corrective action and steps toward reconciliation. Simultaneously, Five Guys expressed gratitude for the professionalism displayed by the Daphne Police Department. "We want to thank the Daphne PD for their cooperation during this process. We are working closely with them to ensure a resolution that reinforces our shared values of respect and service to the community." The situation, however, was far from over. Behind closed doors, Five Guys leadership debated the best course of action to repair the damage. They recognized that this wasn't just about one incident in one location. It was about reaffirming the company's core principles and showing that such behavior had no place in their restaurants. The employees involved in the incident were temporarily suspended pending the outcome of the investigation. For some, this was a wake-up call, a moment to reflect on their actions and the broader implications of their choices. For others, it was a prelude to the possibility of losing their jobs altogether. As Five Guys worked to finalize their response, the community watched closely. This was more than a story about burgers. It was a test of values, accountability, and the strength of relationships between local businesses and the people they serve. In the days that followed, Five Guys took bold steps to address the situation and reaffirm its commitment to respect and equality for all customers. After concluding their investigation, the company announced that it had terminated the employees directly involved in the incident and suspended others who failed to intervene. The corporate office issued another public statement. As a brand, Five Guys stands firmly against any form of discrimination or disrespect. The actions of the employees at our Daphne AL location do not align with our core values. As a result, we have taken immediate action, including the termination and suspension of those involved. Furthermore, the restaurant will temporarily close for additional training to ensure every employee understands our standards of customer service and respect. This decisive action was accompanied by a commitment to rebuild the relationship between the Daphne Five Guys location and the local community. In a symbolic gesture of collaboration, Five Guys announced that representatives from the Daphne Police Department would assist in leading the customer service training sessions. The move received mixed reactions. Many praised the company for acting swiftly and decisively, seeing it as a sign of accountability. Local law enforcement officials, including the Daphne Police Department, expressed gratitude for the gesture, emphasizing that they did not view the incident as representative of Five Guys as a whole. The Daphne Police Department appreciates Five Guys' swift response and their willingness to work with us to prevent similar incidents in the future, the department's official statement read. "We believe this situation can serve as a learning experience for everyone involved and a reminder of the importance of mutual respect in our community." For the terminated employees, the consequences were life-changing. While some of them privately expressed regret, others remained defiant, suggesting that their actions were motivated by personal beliefs. This aspect of the story reignited debates online, with some supporting the employees' right to protest and others condemning the unprofessionalism of refusing service based on the officer's profession. Amid the controversy, the temporary closure of the Daphne Five Guys provided an opportunity for the franchise to regroup. The restaurant remained dark for several days as corporate trainers, local managers, and representatives from the Daphne PD worked together to develop a comprehensive training program. Inside the closed restaurant, chairs were rearranged into a classroom-style setup, and employees, both new hires and those who remained after the incident, attended sessions on diversity, respect, and conflict resolution. Officers from the Daphne PD shared their experiences with the employees, not just to address the recent incident, but to foster a deeper understanding of the role law enforcement plays in the community. The officers spoke candidly about the challenges they faced on the job and the importance of bridging gaps between law enforcement and civilians. Their words resonated with many of the employees, some of whom admitted they had never considered the perspective of those in uniform. As the restaurant prepared to reopen, community members began to rally around both the police department and the local Five Guys. Social media posts calling for unity and understanding gained traction, with many urging people to look at the incident as a chance to grow and heal rather than a reason to divide. Despite the strides being made, the incident remained a topic of national debate. Pundits on both sides used it to highlight broader issues: the relationship between law enforcement and civilians, workplace accountability, and the power of social media to amplify local incidents into national controversies. For Five Guys, the task ahead was clear: rebuild trust, not just in Daphne but across the country, by showing that the values they espoused weren't just corporate slogans, they were actionable principles guiding their business every day. When the Five Guys in Daphne reopened, the atmosphere was markedly different. What had once caused division had transformed into an opportunity for unity. The first customers included officers from the Daphne Police Department, whose warm interactions with the staff symbolized reconciliation. The restaurant became a hub for dialogue and mutual respect, proving that even strained relationships could heal with accountability and genuine effort. Months later, Five Guys hosted a Community Appreciation Day, inviting residents for free meals and conversations about fostering stronger ties. Officers served food alongside restaurant staff, a gesture that highlighted their shared commitment to unity. What began as a painful incident had become a testament to the power of understanding, respect, and the strength of a united community.